Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Pro Scalp. Mr. SMP, that's me, Paul. You know the channel. If you're new to the channel, nice having you here. I think if you watched my last video, I was talking about the supercar, obviously, purchase that I'm looking to make over between the next 6 to 12 months, whenever it might be sooner. It depends. We just don't know what's going to happen with, obviously, lockdown, so it's really hard to gauge exactly when and how I can go about doing this, but it's just going to be a journey that you guys come along with myself. It is a big passion of mine. I do have a lot of friends in the sort of same hobby, so we discussed last time the pros and cons of owning one and all the different sorts of characteristics that go with buying the car, from financing it to maintenance, the running costs, the insurance, etc, etc. I think this episode, what I wanted to touch on was the fact that we discussed the three cars. Well, we said there was three cars that I'm really looking at. I think, I told you the manufacturers were obviously Ferrari, Lamborghini and McLaren. I think you know what the cars are. If you've I got a lot of people send me messages. They were bang on. They probably knew the market that I was looking at. So I was looking at that bracket market where it's going to be something like, still toyed yet, because obviously the residuals and it depends on what the car's coming at. But preference would be, I would go for, there's a number of reasons why, and I'll tell you what they are. But preference would be the new Ferrari F8 Tributo. That is a car I fancy now. Wouldn't really want to buy a new Ferrari and take the hit on it. However, depending on what happens with quarantine, then there might be a degree of not discount, you don't give discounts per se, but there might be a degree on sort of how the deal is structured and work, and then what the guaranteed residual values will be, depending on what finance company you use and obviously who used to broker the deal. That would be choice number one. If I didn't go for that, it would definitely have to be probably a 488 Spider, which I fancy. So that would be the choice of Ferrari. However, really like to go for the new F8 because the improvements and the upgrades they've made over the 488. Choice number two is a toss between, yet again, new and used. Would I go for a new Lamborghini Huracan Evo? Would probably prefer the coupe, if I must be honest. Or, I know this is a curveball saying I want a coupe Huracan, but, or would I go for a Spider Performante? So that is the choice there. That'll probably be, it's a tough one between Ferrari and Lamborghini. The thing that sways me towards Ferrari is the fact that you're getting the free service. And then, I think choice number three, which is a bit of a curveball, would be either, and this is a bit of a weird spectrum, but it would be a 600 LT McLaren. Coupes have dropped really now. They're around 130, 140. It's a hell of a car for the money. However, I have been offered a brand spanking new Spider off one of the local dealers to me, which is 40, 50 grand on the list. So they're looking to do a really good deal on that car. It's spec'd up to the max, center seats, carbon fibre all on the outside, carbon fibre inside, carbon dash. It's just, the spec's amazing on it. That car is there now, and I could have that, and McLaren are willing to do a stupid deal on the finance package on it, and it makes it really cheap. So that's one. However, looking at the used car market again, 720S, the reviews, the troubles they have with the maintenance side is putting me off. And there's a guy locally here got one where I live, and I've had a look at his and chatted to him about it, and don't get me wrong, it's nice, it looks out of this world. However, wouldn't want to be driving the same cars in rounds locally, because I fancy something different. He's also had a 488, he's had a couple of 488s, and he said that they're a totally different car for different reasons. However, he does enjoy the McLaren. But for me, I probably want something different. I like the fact that I like the track focus part of the 600 LT. And for the money, they're absolutely bang on, considering when they were new about 18 months ago, they were people were speccing up to like 220, 250. You're getting a car now that's done a couple of thousand miles, like 130, 140. So big appeal there. However, McLaren at the moment aren't doing themselves any favours with the amount of different types of cars they're bringing out, and the churn, the rate of churn of new models, which is a bit worrying on the residuals again. Another thing that's thrown a curveball in, but I think's a little bit out of my price range, is the new 765 LT based on the 720S chassis. But speaking to someone on YouTube who's quite a big time sort of famous car YouTuber, messaged me and said, with options to get a car right, you're going to be looking at 350 grand, which is not in my market really. It's at least a good £100,000, maybe 120 grand more than where I want to be. So that might be a goer. I think what'll happen with them is probably they'll come out, they'll probably be gobbled up. There's 765 of the coupes, 765 Spiders getting made. They'll get gobbled up, specced up, and then they'll just fall out of bed on used car prices. And maybe when I'm finished with this car, I can jump into one maybe then, depending on what I've actually bought. But so the McLaren option is there. The McLaren option is very real and a very cheap way to getting into a supercar. Probably around £25,000 down as a deposit, and payments of around about £1,500 a month. And now that's just sort of loose figures, don't quote me on it. I've had a couple of different quotes from different people. Some have been different. It depends on the term of the finance, the APR, who it's with, the background. Everything's had to go into the obviously deal to make it stack up in a certain way. And anyway, to cut a long story short, that's very real and it's a very cheap deal. Lamborghini I was find are a bit more expensive to finance. The reason is they want you to start paying some of the, not just the interest off, but some of the actual the car off in itself when you're buying it. Like the Performante, fancy it, the noise is amazing. However, it is still based on the Gen 1 spec Huracan. The Gen 2's come out the Evo, love the dashboard in it, the digital dash, so forth. That's big on appeal. It's also got the characteristics of the Perf, but in a more usable everyday car. And to be fair, I'm not going to be tracking any of my cars because it's just not what I do. I don't want to damage them, it's hard wearing on them, and it's more going to be treated like a bit of me baby, where I just get it out for weekends and have a little blast around and then put it back away. So Evo more so than the Perf, only because there's a bit more new technology, four-wheel steer, there's a few more bits going on with it that's modernised over the Performante, so that could be an option, the Evo. But again, McLaren, Lamborghini, big servicing costs, and at the end of the day, they both have the differences with troubles, being McLaren, have electrical faults and problems with them, and Lamborghinis just in general are expensive to run. Let's not make no bones about it. I've had two, so they're expensive. Ferraris, they're a real contender for me, with the fact that they do work, they very rarely break down. The build quality is amazing. I believe, I've never bought one from new, but I believe the dealership experience is fantastic. I've got a local dealer to me. There's a local dealer back in, Manchester way, more towards where my hometown is in Liverpool, but there's a local dealer to me here in Nottingham. So I can go and speak to them. The problem I've got is, I think if I was going for an F8, I'm going to have to order it from scratch, and there will be a waiting time on it, and I probably would have thought I'd be waiting nearly 6 to 12 months, which is not a problem. I don't mind that if I'm going to get the right car spec for me. So that's an option. Free servicing, brilliant, love that, because at the end of the day, Ferrari isn't cheap, parts are expensive, to get one fixed is just ludicrously dear, especially if you know guys out there, you're a 355 owner, then things just eat money for fun, upkeep. So new Ferrari, very much a contender, little bit more, understated compared to a big loud Lamborghini or a very loud sort of McLaren with exhaust coming out the top of the boot and all that sort of thing, like the 600 LT. So maybe 44 guys, maybe you need a little bit more of that, like a little bit more sort of smoothness, bit of edge, instead of that edgy, loud side to me. But yet again, I'm only getting it out for weekends and having a blast. But Ferrari's a little bit more, I don't know, it's a little bit more sort of sedate, I feel, in some ways, you know, and I do feel that that might be the option for me. If I was to go for one, I'd probably go for a traditional red one. I must be honest, I just find that the older value well, traditional Rosso Corsa. But who knows? I need to get out and I need to drive them. I need to drive the McLaren brand. I pretty much know what the Lamborghini brand's like. I've had a couple of them. I know what the Ferrari brand's like. But I need to drive the cars. It doesn't matter if you know the brand, you need to drive the cars. I need to go and drive the McLaren. I need to go to Lamborghini and drive the new Evo. And I need to go to Ferrari and I need to see when they're going to have an F8 car which I'm able to get into and have a test drive of. Also, I need to sit down, I need to work the figures out, I need to see the monthlies on them, I need to see the running costs. I'll have to do some P&Ls on both of them. I know that's the business side of me, guys, but this is the level of detail that I go into in most of the things I do, and especially with a purchase like this, because when you're paying out a couple of £1,000 a month out of your hard-earned income on something that you're very passionate about, you want to make sure you get it right, because in 2 years' time or 3 years' time, when you're looking to get out the car, you don't want it to be a disaster. You've got to be the right side up on them, because otherwise they can hurt you, and I don't want that. So, you know what the cars are now, guys. You know what they are: the McLaren, the Lamborghini, the Ferrari, the 600 LT, the 600 LT Spider, the Huracan or the Huracan Evo, or the Performante, sorry, or the Evo. And if it's Ferrari, is it just an off-new used GTB Spider 488, or are we going to go the whole hog and order an F8 Tributo coupe and go and spec it up from scratch? Maybe get a trip to the factory and we'll bring you along for the ride. I'll update you guys as we go along with this. It's going to intermingle in all the SMP stuff. It's not just going to be all about cars. You know, mainly the channel's about SMP, scalp micropigmentation. That's who I am, Mr. SMP. However, just a little bit of my lifestyle. Yes, bring you along for it all. It doesn't matter really what I'm doing. You'll be coming along for the ride. Thanks for watching, guys. I always love making content. I know we're stuck in quarantine at the moment, but please stick with it. And yeah, I look forward to speaking to you soon. Please like, share, subscribe, hit that bell button, and I'll be back to you soon, guys. Take care. Thanks. Bye.